Does this mean NILs? I mean, does this mean collectives and things like that go away, or schools can continue to do that? Like, again, Ohio State, we can go down the list of SEC schools, my school, Michigan. I'm sure in the case of your alma mater, certainly on the basketball front, Duke, do these collectives now just add on to the 25.5 so there will actually be haves and have-nots? It's not like a level we're all under one salary cap playing field, Jay?
Well, the answer is yes and no to that. So there will still be third-party NIL. And there will be no limit to that NIL, except that any contract for NIL, for your name, image, and likeness in the marketplace, is going to be subject to review by Deloitte for fair market value. So let me just make up something. If there's a local car dealership in Ann Arbor
yes,
that wants to pay the third string quarterback $4 million a year to do commercials for a local car dealership that grosses only $1 million per year, Deloitte's likely to say that's not a fair market value deal. That's a circumvention deal that is pay for play and not a fair market deal for name, image, and likeness. So if Deloitte dings that deal and says, nope, not fair market, there can be arbitration that's going to be quickly settled, and it's binding arbitration over that particular dispute. But really what this will do is say, all right, are these market-based deals that make sense in the marketplace and aren't just a way to circumvent the cap and just pay for play, essentially, in addition to the revenue sharing. So I think it'll streamline things a little bit. There'll still be some deals here or there that might raise your eyebrows, but it won't be, I think it'll be a little bit more orderly. The difficulty is going to be in this new commission with enforcement. It is, by theory, going to be centralized and move quicker, but how many times have we heard that in the past with regard to NCAA enforcement?
Man, Jay, what does this mean for Olympic sports, Jay? Because I can already imagine $20.5 million, right? There are some schools that get that, and that can make up for a massive shortfall in budgets, right? But are they mandated this money must go to players, or they're able to just take it and throw it at the bottom line, like, say, some Major League Baseball owners do, instead of making sure they get enough players to compete with the haves? They just say, screw it. We're gonna take this money and throw it at our bottom line rather than give it to players. Is that possible that we're going to see?
This is not a mandate that schools have to share their revenue. It's allowing them to share it. Oh. So no school has to give any player a nickel if they don't want to. They can allocate it basically now however they want. So if they want to allocate all $20.5 million to football, they can do that. And it's a fair question. How many sports are schools going to have? But I've always asked this question, how many should they have? You know, when you and I were in school, there were a lot fewer sports than there are now. Like, schools now have 29 sports played on the varsity level. The SEC, I believe, has 18. So is the SEC shortchanging their athletes when the Ivy League isn't? I don't know the right answer to that. What we will see going forward are challenges with regard to Title IX and employment, because the old model of amateurism and all that stuff and a multi-billion-dollar entertainment industry, that's dead. So there is a key question as to how many sports will schools decide they want to have, and I think that's going to be a school-by-school, conference-by-conference issue. But what I believe to be the case is schools are going to have however many sports benefit them. And one of the things that happens with athletes in the quote-unquote non-revenue or Olympic sports is they retain students. These athletes want to compete. And so they don't move around quite as much as the athletes in the revenue-producing sports, at least as of late. So if Cal Berkeley, which years ago tried to do this, they tried to eliminate their baseball program, the university community rose up and said, nope, we're not doing this. And they found the money and they kept it. And I think you're going to see that pretty much across the board. And one last thing on the Olympic thing.
Please.
the Olympic sports, I've heard administrators over the years say, boy, we start paying athletes, it's going to really hurt the United States Olympic movement because college sports is the breeding ground for our Olympic athletes and Olympic movement. And I'm going, oh, so now the college athletes got to pay for our Olympic movement too? They have to remain unpaid so we can win medals? If we really care about our Olympic movement, the government should deal with that, not college athletes. And I don't see coaches anywhere taking a discount so we can win more medals, or facilities not being built so we can win more medals. We got to get out of this idea that the players have to take a discount so we can do all these other things. Those days are over.
Yeah, I mean, I was literally about to say, this sounds like the feds need to get involved. You know what I mean? And which is obviously rife with its own issues, ripped straight from the headlines, right? That you know, it sounds like the NCAA is outsourcing their oversight, their compliance. They're outsourcing the, I guess, accounting, right? I mean, Deloitte is now going to figure out whether something's cap compliant in college athletics. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.